It's the E3 season, or now more accurately, Summer Game Fest season, where most of the gaming world stops and shows us the biggest and boldest stuff across the next week. First off this year is Sony on Tuesday, and they are coming in with a at least 60-minute long show that hopefully, I'm sure a lot of us are going to be looking forward to, and for the Americans out there, you can watch it in cinemas. Yeah, apparently they last tried this in 2018, so I hope they've got something big to show if that is their plan here. We're going to start off with a guaranteed. We know we're going to see Wolverine here. They literally said that, and they said they're going to have a closer look at the combat specifically. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more story and maybe a small cameo from another Marvel character as well. But for now, that's all we know. Next up, I do think we're going to see Intergalactic. Now, Naughty Dog, while one of Sony's darlings across multiple generations, has yet to produce a non-remake for the whole lifespan of the PS5. And that's now nearing 6 years. Feel old yet? Well, we saw a small teaser trailer for the upcoming game. We don't know an awful lot about it. And with increased rumours and leaks surrounding a potentially unhappy Sony regarding the output, or lack thereof, from Naughty Dog in recent times, it would feel like it's time to see them again. Although if the rumours are true, it might actually be further away than we'd hope. So now I've got a bit more of a long shot. Santa Monica Studios recently gave us the side-scrolling adventures of a young Kratos. And from what we gather, they actually have had multiple teams at work, with Cory Balrog, the director of the reboot of God of War, apparently working on a new IP. And considering we're nearly 8 years on from that game coming out, it would be exciting if we see Santa Monica step away from the comfort blanket that God of War has kind of become for them. Or maybe we'll still see some God of War content. Recent leaks suggest they've been working on another God of War game, this time following Kratos' wife, Faye, which could actually potentially be a very good different angle into the God of War's ever-growing expanded universe. So if you love God of War, you might actually be eating rather well. Now, Sony has been desperate to make Horizon one of its tentpole franchises. And I don't think they're planning on slowing that down anytime soon either. We know for a fact there are at least 2 games in development at Guerrilla, one being a co-op multiplayer experience, which sounds remarkably similar to Elden Ring Night Rain. But that was only announced earlier this year. The other one is a sequel to Forbidden West. And now it's been nearly 4 years since Forbidden West launched, and 3 since the DLC. And there was only a 5-year gap between the previous Horizon entry, Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West. So it could mean it's almost time to see the next one. Although I think this one is more likely to appear towards the end of the year, but you never know if we might see a teaser trailer. Now, this is the part where my predictions are starting to get a little more dicey, with Insomniac having already announced Wolverine around the same time as Spider-Man 2, which was probably a little bit too early, but we'll digress. We know that they have at least 2 teams working at the studio, so it wouldn't be a surprise if we see another game from the studio announced to show off what they're working on once Wolverine is out that door, and that's coming out later the year in September, so, you know, it's soon. And honestly, I wonder if it's going to either be another Ratchet & Clank game, although logically it would probably be another Marvel character, so that they can lead it in from Wolverine. Deadpool feels like a good shout, as I doubt we're going to see any of the other X-Men characters used outside of supporting roles. Now, the John Wick game I think is also going to be here. It was a standout with the last state of play, and while I don't think we need to see loads of the game because people are already shouting, "Shut up and take my money!" a small bit more, as well as a firm title, maybe a release window, would definitely go a long way. Now, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. The Infamous series deserves more attention and is one of the few major PS3 era franchises that hasn't had a form of remaster or remake for the PS4 or PS5. So it would be nice to see them getting a remake, and then long term, it'd be lovely to see another title from them. I'm not holding my breath, although with the amount of support coming for adaptations, I also think Infamous could be a good shout for that. Gritty story, good energy, good characters, and superpowers, which somehow haven't run their course yet, but you know, we move. So we also got a first proper showing of Silent Hill Townfall earlier in the year, and its release date is still 2026. So it would be good to see that again, maybe a little bit more about the atmosphere we were expecting, and maybe our main character. Being set in Scotland, they have a lot of beautiful locations to play with, and Silent Hill has been having a massive resurgence in recent years. And frankly, they could probably keep a late 2026 release date, potentially if they release it somewhere in the end of September, early October, to really go into the spooky season vibes. Well, Square Enix has been, how do I put this gently, less interested in timed exclusives due to their kind of perceived negative effect it has on sales. The actual deal that Sony has with Square about Final Fantasy VII is unknown. And it was about 2 years ago we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So while it might seem a bit soon, development between Remake and Rebirth was actually only 4 years. So we might finally have the final part of the story in our hands sooner than we'd expect. I guess they are using some of the same assets across these games, so that kind of speeds up development time. And they also already have the story to work off, so I guess that is a major part of the development that has been sped up. Although we will have to find out if it's going to be again a timed exclusive or not. But if it isn't a timed exclusive, then I probably would expect this to be at Summer Game Fest instead of the PlayStation Showcase. Well, those are just some of my predictions, and I'm sure that we will see something from the list. And probably a lot of things that I wouldn't even have thought about as well. Hopefully some smaller indie titles who we wouldn't know what they were working on at all. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with me, what you hope to see. And if you like this, don't forget to check me out over on Twitch at @the_UntitledGamer. I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye!